Jacob asking, what's the best record you think Nebraska could have next year and the worst they could have? So best case scenario, worst case scenario. I think Casey Thomspn looks like a badass, so I hope they're better with him under center, although he won't be under center much, of course.
No, well, you know what? That's debatable. We don't know. We'll see what Mark Whipple comes out with here in a couple weeks.
I would still be surprised if it's much.
I would be too, but yeah. I'm gonna say. I mean, the worst they can do. I don't know. You got to the way the schedule kind of breaks down. I mean, 5 losses maybe. I mean, 5 wins would be the worst, I would think. But obviously, I mean, we talked a little bit last week that some people had them going to the Big Ten title game, but I'm saying 8 wins. 8-5. That's what I'm looking. I mean, and then maybe you get a couple bonus wins and bump that up to a 9-4.
So I am looking at it here, and I'm going to toss out the bowl game because not predicting a bowl game because I don't know who they're going to play in a bowl game. So let's look at the 12 that they play. Of course, the obvious answer is the best they could do is 12-0, and the worst they could do is 0-12. Okay, so let's get the obvious out of the way. They got to beat Northwestern in week 0. I just think that that's a huge game for them to get off to a good start, not get off to the kind of start they did last year. It's one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. They can't let that one slide. Now, they don't have to face that gauntlet, Michigan State, Ohio State in the Big Ten East this year. I actually cut a video. I've yet to post it. I'm looking at Big Ten schedules and who is getting really hammered versus who is getting a light schedule. So Purdue, out of the 3 teams that Purdue plays in the Big Ten Eastern Division, they're playing Maryland, Indiana, and Rutgers. Those 3 teams went 7-20 in the Big Ten last year. So Purdue's playing the easiest schedule in the Big Ten this year by far. It's not even close. Nebraska's been accustomed to getting hammered the last several years. They're getting a lighter touch this year. So between Indiana 0-9, Rutgers 2-7, and Michigan 8-1, the 3 teams that Nebraska plays in the other division went 10-17 last year. So that's a lot lighter than what they've had to face. So Michigan's going to be a difficult one, of course, on the road, but the other 2 they should win. Man, there's a slew of toss-up games: Minnesota, Purdue, Wisconsin, Iowa. Those are the 4 in particular that they gotta, if they want to win the division, I think they got to win 3 out of those 4. But they have a nice season, split those games, and I think realistically, I'm going 8-4, 5-7.
Yeah,
those are my top and bottom figures.
Yep. I think so too. I mean, right? You mentioned starting off the season in Dublin against Northwestern, and you think, I mean, Nebraska obviously probably going to be favored in that game, and then you come home, for another 2 games that they're going to be favored in. And then you have Oklahoma coming in week 4 of Nebraska's season, which, an Oklahoma team that has, 11 guys in the NFL Combine and a brand new coaching staff and a lot of transfers out and in. Nebraska, I think, couldn't ask to get a home game against an Oklahoma at a better spot. So you love those chances of, maybe all of a sudden Nebraska starts 4-0 and, you have some more games there that you're going to be favored in. And then the back half of that schedule is the hardest part, obviously. With Michigan, Iowa, Wisconsin to kind of close things out. And, you play Minnesota before that. So, 8 wins, I think, is what I'm kind of targeting. But the way that schedule looks at too, I mean, you could easily see them maybe being a 10-2 team, and maybe getting a chance to play in Indianapolis. It's hard to say, but you have to win against those teams here in the West. You've got to beat Iowa. You've got to beat Minnesota. You've got to beat Wisconsin. If you can't do that, it's a moot point. It really doesn't matter.